Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree should not be a nominee for Game of the Year. Greetings, Warriors. How you guys doing? Now, welcome back to the channel. Now, I want to talk about the Game Awards and some of the nominees that they have. As you guys can see right here on my screen, I have made my votes on things that I wanted to win. Disclaimer, some of the votes that I have on here were games that I haven't played. I just watched them a good chunk of time, and that's the reason why I voted and why I liked it. And one particular vote was simply because the fans absolutely loved it a lot more, but I did watch one of the shows. It's the best adaptation one. I watched one of the shows and I really wasn't too fond of it, but the other one, they got a lot of praise and everything like that, so I wanted to win, so that's why I did that. But a little disclaimer on that one. Plus, I'm pretty sure anyone who votes for this kind of stuff here either know about it enough, like it, they watched it enough, or have played it themselves. I mean, some of these I want to win even though I haven't played it at all or anything like that. That's besides the point. But I don't want to make this video too long or anything like that. So some of these I'll go over in depth. Some of these I'll just go over just a quick one. So we'll start at the bottom and then we'll end it at the Game of the Year, which we gotta have a small discussion about that because I was not happy about something on there. So we'll go down the bottom here, just real quick. Content Creator of the Year. I chose Queso. No disrespect to these four here, but I have never heard of them, never seen their content or anything like that. I mean, heck, I only have 4,000 subscribers. It's a big number to me, but these guys are probably chump numbers. Okay, so not trying to make no comparison. I just haven't heard of them. Okay, but Queso, I do know of Queso, and I don't even like Twitch. But every time I go on Twitch and I see Queso, the amount of followers and the dude's highlights that he freaking has is absolutely fantastic. So I definitely got to give it to Queso on this one. This was a really easy vote. And no BS, if I was a big content creator and I was on here or anything like that, I probably would be like, Queso's probably gonna get it too, you know. But that's besides the point on that one. I don't know any of these peeps. I'm sure they're pretty good. I'm not gonna say pretty good. I'm not gonna disrespect their names like that. I'm sure they're really good content creators and everything like that. But Queso, and just from what I've seen, the man's on a different level of content. I freaking love watching this stuff. And I don't even watch Twitch, but thankfully he does upload on YouTube, so that was an easy vote for me. Most anticipated game. I do want to discuss this one. This was an easy vote. Ghost of Yotai. I absolutely freaking love Ghost of Tsushima. I'm not gonna say it does suck, but it was bittersweet that Ghost of Tsushima was the bit that ended, you know, Jin Sakai. Okay, we won't be seeing him in Ghost of Yotai. Thankfully, one of the developers did announce that, yeah, he will not be in the game or anything. Now, maybe they could have said that just, you know, the fans be like, oh, damn it. But they may put like a little something maybe in there. I'm not sure, but apparently they're going a whole different direction on it and a whole new story. Female protagonist, which doesn't bother me at all. I'm cool with that switch up, which a lot of people hate that. Realistically, my most anticipated game is Phantom Blade 0, which for the longest said release date was gonna be 24, and that's not the case. So regardless of the fact, I'm looking forward to that as my #1 game. Ghost of Yotai is my number 2, but because Phantom Blade 0 is not on here, Ghost of Yotai got my vote really quickly. It's not Grand Theft Auto 6. I love Grand Theft Auto, but it doesn't run my freaking life. There's other games out there. I'm cool with it. Best multiplayer. Now, this one, it was either between Tekken 8 or Super Mario. Now, Tekken 8, I never played a Tekken fighting game before. Well, a Tekken fighting game. I never played Tekken before, but I love watching it. It's a fighting game that I absolutely love watching, one of the most. I love the music. I love the stages. And I just love I love the audio in Tekken, especially in Tekken 8. I love it. It's like, I love Street Fighter 6. It's my favorite, but the Tekken 8 got a lot of stuff right. Because multiplayer, I'm not gonna give Call of Duty. I'll be honest, I love Call of Duty. I have a love-hate relationship with them, and I love Black Ops 6. They did a good job. But until they fix their fucking game on a lot of the stuff that needs to be fixed, not even skill issue wise, like just literally just downright stuff that needs to be freaking fixed, and they're talking about years of development. No, you didn't. You just recycled Cold War and just changed some stuff. That's why you're having some issues. And then I love Cold War, but I'll say this: anything that had Call of Duty on it, I didn't vote for it. I'm just put it right there. But I did vote Super Mario. The reason why I did is because Super Mario Party, or Mario Party, has been in my life all my life, and we all know Mario Party, Mario Kart, and Uno are probably like the top 3 things in the world that can test friendships like a mofo. And not only that, this brings out like the best content. You know, when you got 4 people or anything, this brings out the best toxicity content. Like, in my personal opinion, I freaking love it. So I had to give Mario Party my vote on this one. But more than likely, when it comes to best multiplayer, I wouldn't be surprised if Call of Duty gets it. I wouldn't be surprised. So skipping this, best family, I chose Mario Party again. One of the nominees, I'm not gonna beat a dead horse on that one. Best fighting, because Street Fighter 6, as you guys can tell, is my personal favorite of it. I was like, because it wasn't on there, I voted for Tekken 8 compared to the other ones on here. Best RPG, I did vote for Shadow of the Erdtree because it said, like, you know, character customization and all that stuff like that. I didn't give it to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because there's not really customization that when I think of RPG, it's in there. And I love Final Fantasy is my top 2 favorite gaming series, period, next to Resident Evil. But I didn't give it that. But I did give it to Shadow of the Erd Tree. Okay, or Elden Ring again. Best action adventure. Now, I don't consider Silent Hill 2 an action adventure game, but I want Silent Hill 2 to win something because it's my game of the year. Okay, but it's not a nominee for game of the year, but it's my game of the year. So I put Silent Hill 2 as best action adventure. One out of all these 5, this is one I played. So I wanted, but I wouldn't be surprised if Astro Bot wins it because Astro Bot got a lot of love when it came out. But I'm still gonna pick Silent Hill 2. I want Silent Hill 2 to win something. All right, best action game. Now, this is one of those where I said disclaimer, I haven't played it kind of deal, but it was between either Stellar Blade or Black Myth Wukong. But because I'm more familiar and watched a lot more of Stellar Blade, I gave Stellar Blade the vote. I gave Stellar Blade. Plus, I'm not gonna lie, the freaking beginning, freaking blew me. I didn't realize how violent the game was actually gonna be. No BS. But I'm still waiting for this game to come out on PC so I can free play it. Okay, obviously. So I'm gonna give Stellar Blade that one. But it was a tough choice between this one and Black Myth Wukong. But I've seen a lot more gameplays of Stellar Blade and watched more of Stellar Blade than I have of Black Myth Wukong. So maybe my vote is just because of, well, it is because of what I've seen the most of. More than likely, I wouldn't be surprised if it's gonna be between these two and maybe this one will win. But I'm not gonna sugarcoat that Warhammer Space Marine 2. A lot of people was really funking with this one heavy too. So I wouldn't be surprised if this wins it actually. But Stellar Blade got my vote on this one. Now, community support. Now, I switched it up for my vote on this one. My vote was best player community support because I'm familiar with Baldur's Gate 3 in its community and Final Fantasy 14 in its community. These 3, well, Fortnite I don't give a funk about. Helldivers 2 and No Man's Sky, I never played those and don't know too many people in the community that plays these or anything. My friend circle is really small. I know Helldivers 2 got a lot of love and all that good stuff like that. It's cool and dandy. But when it comes to the player community or the support, you know, from Square Enix that does for Final Fantasy 14, I'm very familiar with it. They're on top of it. But the reason why I voted for this is well because I had the best player experience on this. Being a new guy on Final Fantasy 14, you are 9 times out of 10 loved and welcomed. Okay, people will gladly help you out with the game, give you pointers, give you tips, no pause. And I'm a tank in Final Fantasy 14, and I love being the tank. I honestly think tank is the most important job that you can have in Final Fantasy 14. That was a job that I chose, and when I didn't do something or we failed a dungeon because it was my fault, they knew I was a new guy. They were more forgiving. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, if you're level such and such and such, you should know what to do by now. Understandable. But when they saw that, hey, I'm a new guy, they were like, oh, well, hey, freaking, if you do this, you go this route or anything like that, this would be a lot better. And a lot of people have their different point of views and everything like that, but it was all love at the end of the day. And I learned a lot. I haven't played in a hot little minute, obviously, because you really got to invest your time in that. But this was quick to win my vote. I was like, so I went with the best player community support when it comes to these, and Final Fantasy 14 got my vote heavily on that. And of course, Square Enix is really good on keeping up with tabs and bans and keeping the safeties and all that stuff like that, at least that I've experienced on Final Fantasy 14. So I funks with that. And best ongoing, once again, I did choose Final Fantasy 14 in this category as well. I can't remember the nominees, but like I said, I don't want to make this video too long, but I did choose Final Fantasy 14 for this one. Now, this top one here was my favorites of voting because these, it took me some time to get the votes in for these, okay? I want to go with best performance first, okay? And why I did what I did. All right. So, Ms. Brianna White, she voices Aerith in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, when I went down the line on who was all here, I'm familiar with Homegirl and Homeboy. Okay, I'm not familiar with these 3 ladies, but there's no telling that they're talented AF. Obviously, I'm gonna give them that love and respect. But I'm not sure. I don't know their work. Like I know Brianna White and Luke Roberts, but I love Brianna White. She kills it as Aerith. I can't imagine anyone else voicing Aerith. She does a fantastic job. That's what I'm saying. It was really hard for me to choose between these two. I'm familiar with both of these, but I gotta give it to my boy Luke on this one. I gotta give it to him on that one. Being the only male in a group of dominant women, bruh. Dominant and talented women, bruh. I gotta give it to Luke on that. That is an impressive feat for what he did, and they recognize our boy Luke Roberts as James Sunderland in Silent Hill 2. I gotta give it to Luke on that. I gotta give it to Luke on that. And if you want to see some great acting from our boy, just watch the cutscenes of Silent Hill 2 just one time and watch the rebirth. Was it the stillness ending, which is my favorite ending in Silent Hill 2. Watch that and just watch his acting performance on that one. That sealed the deal for me. Fantastic. Luke, I hope you get it, bro. But if you don't get it, Ms. White, please get it. I hope you get it too. Best audio design. This one was actually pretty easy for me. As much as I love Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and all that good stuff like that, not voting for anything on that. Freaking, I'm very familiar with Silent Hill 2, but the reason why I chose this is because when I put headphones on and I put it on full blast, there's still some parts in the game that'll get me like, oh You know, like them freaking legs that be in the freaking corners. I still don't know every corner that them motherfuckers be hiding in, and one of them can freaking easily just get me. So I absolutely love the auto design of Silent Hill 2. They still get your boy. They're still giving that creepy and eerie vibes that Silent Hill 2 is known for, and I absolutely freaking love it. So I do hope Silent Hill 2 gets it, but if Silent Hill 2 doesn't get it, then I would not be upset if Rebirth gets it. Music and score. This is between Silent Hill 2 and Rebirth on this one. Now, the reason why I chose Rebirth on this one, because most of the music in Rebirth is new. Some of it, of course, is remade and everything like that. There's nothing wrong with that and everything. But the reason why is because I chose this, because Silent Hill 2 soundtrack, I wouldn't be surprised if GGGryphon has a Silent Hill 2 soundtrack playing right now for this whole talking point. More than likely, he probably chose something. Obviously, I wouldn't be surprised. But Silent Hill 2 music is absolutely timeless. But the reason why I didn't choose is because there was a decent amount of music that were reused from the original Silent Hill 2, which doesn't change the fact that it's great music, absolutely. But mine was, I was going for, new stuff. And plus, I think Final Fantasy Rebirth has a lot more music than Silent Hill 2 does. I know this soundtrack for Silent Hill 2 is like 3 discs, no BS. But it's not. I don't think it's every single track. I think there's some unreleased tracks as well on there. They actually have to find if you look. And so I was like, okay, I'll give Final Fantasy Rebirth like a small little leg up on that because of that. And but both of these music are absolutely great. I have the soundtrack of this. I still have plenty of it on my phone. I listen to it in my car, all that good stuff like that. Same thing with Rebirth as well. Okay, so but it was between these two, and it was a tough choice, but a lot easier than the voice acting category, which that one took me a hot little minute to vote for. But this one was a little bit easier on this one. But like I said, no disrespect to Silent Hill 2, I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack in the comments that Silent Hill 2 should get the vote. But like I said, if it wins, I'm not gonna be upset. Silent Hill 2 soundtrack is timeless to me. You can play it anytime. People are still gonna love it. Absolutely, I do agree. But I did this because there's a lot more new music in Final Fantasy Rebirth and everything. Plus, let's be honest, guys, it's really hard for Final Fantasy to have bad music. Going back, best art direction. This one was actually pretty easy compared to the on here. I did love the art direction that we're going with Black Myth Wukong, but I'm sorry, the Shadow of the Erdtree, I love the art in that. Elden Ring has some of the best art in modern gaming as of right now. Was a freaking that I have seen. I love the artistic design and animation that they went with it, and I'm glad that Erdtree continued on with that. They did a fantastic job, which is another good reason why it took so long for that DLC to come out. I was like, so plus from what I understood, they weren't even thinking about a DLC and everything that came out when the game came out. They weren't even thinking about it. It's just a lot of fans wanted one, and they were like, okay, and it took them a while to make one. There's nothing wrong with that, but the art direction that Erdtree or Elden Ring has is still top tier. I was like, so this was a pretty easy vote for me. Now best narrative and best game direction, I'm gonna put in the same one. I put Final Fantasy Rebirth on both of these. It says storytelling and narrative and development of the game. Now the reason why I didn't choose Silent Hill 2 on this one, even though the story in Silent Hill 2 is top tier, it is still the same story but told slightly different, but it's basically the same as in the original. The reason why I gave it to Rebirth is because it's the same story, but they switched a lot of stuff up to have it be somewhat of the same story, but they switched a lot of stuff up. Like, it's one of those where you play the original of Final Fantasy VII, okay, cool. But you play the remake, you're like, holy shoot, they changed that? You're like, what the heck? So it gets you engrossed. Where Silent Hill 2, you have already kind of an idea on like what's going on. They just switched some stuff, different lines and everything like that. But at the end, it's still the same, okay? Same thing about Rebirth, but they changed a lot of stuff, and I can't really ignore the direction they're going with the remake of Final Fantasy VII. I do love the love that they're putting into this, for it to be 3 parts and changing a lot of stuff, for the story to be a little bit the same, but so much has changed. I'll tell people, like, if you play the original, still play the remake, because they changed a lot of stuff for it to be engaging. Now, to make it not long, but like I said, game of the year. Okay, I'm gonna leave a separate chapter for this. I'm pretty sure you guys know where I was getting at when I said in the beginning that one of these games should not be in game of the year, in my honest opinion. This one was an easy vote for me, but one of the games on game of the year shouldn't be on here. Final Fantasy Rebirth got my vote on the 6 games that were voted. Okay, to be real with you, I have not heard of this one, Balatro and Metaphor. I don't even know how to say that last word. I don't want to butcher it. These 2 games I never even heard of. Okay, but of course I heard Astrobot, which I'm not surprised. If it wins it, I would be surprised, but I was like, okay, good for it, because they got a lot of praise and love. Black Myth Wukong, I'm glad it made it on here, but apparently from what I understood, I could be wrong, but apparently when it comes to ratings and player counts and all that stuff like that, or how much it was loved, apparently of all of these, Black Myth Wukong got the lowest. I didn't look at the numbers or anything like that, but I was watching somebody, I forgot who it was, but apparently Black Myth Wukong got like the lowest rating compared to the other games on here, which I did not know. I did not know at all. So that was actually brand spanking new to me. So if that is the case, this probably won't win Game of the Year, which I'll be surprised. Now, but I chose Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Obviously, I think it should win out of all of these, but I'm really upset, and this is what we're going with. Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree should not be a nominee for Game of the Year. I'm saying that outright on there. If it was its own game, sure. Now I get it. It's not your typical DLC where it's just, you know, here and there. It could be its own separate game, sure, fine. But the reason why is that because it is labeled a DLC. If you label it a DLC, it should not be Game of the Year. That is highly, in my personal opinion, unfair. A lot of people do agree with that sentiment though. I haven't been the only one to been vocal about this. Now, if it wins, I won't be surprised, but I feel like if this was to win, I feel like this is just one of those where like people are just playing favorites because it's a Souls game. It's I love the fan base. Well, actually, I'm be honest with you, I really don't. I will say the fan base is really toxic. It's one of the most toxic fan base for a single player game I ever freaking experienced. Regardless, I did meet a lot of cool people. If you guys are cool people on that, cool, do your thing. But I swear to God, it's one of the, you play a Souls game a certain way, you don't get, it's like, oh, you're cheating, you're doing this. Like, I have never understood that thought process. I don't know. If you spend money on a game, play however you want to fucking play it. I do think this is highly unfair. If it wins, I'm not gonna say there will be outrage, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was people that'd be like, are you fucking serious? A DLC won. Because now at this point, now you're putting this game here when there's a full game that's out there that should have been nominated, then they got cheated out because a DLC got it, or because a well-loved DLC got it. That's cool. Then they make a whole new category, DLC of the year if you want to. But at the same time, there's other categories this is in, but it doesn't need to be in Game of the Year. In my opinion, this should be replaced with Stellar Blade. In my honest opinion. Now, I still would have voted Rebirth, but it still would have been a understandable nominee choice on here. Even though Silent Hill 2 is my Game of the Year, it would have been nice if it was in this category. Fine, that's totally understandable. That's fine. I can deal with it not being in the nominees. Fine. But Stellar Blade, I think, should have taken this spot over Shadow of the Erdtree. DLC should not be in there because now what's going to happen is if this wins it, there's going to be a lot of articles and everything that comes out and that's going to say, well, okay, well, in that case, this DLC should have been in this Game of the Year, or that DLC should have been this Game of the Year. People are going to say that now that this is in here. And now if this was to win it, or now it's been nominated, right? Now what people are going to do is when a DLC comes out next year, a DLC is going to be great and that DLC is not going to make it in the game, they're gonna be like, wait a minute, why didn't this DLC make it? It was a great DLC. Y'all put Shadow of the Erdtree in there last year. What's going on? That's what's going to happen. It's gonna be a lot of bench moans and complaints. Rightfully so, of course, in my personal opinion. But great DLC. If they made it into a separate game, it could have. But that's not the point. It's labeled as a DLC. Not a full game. That's my rant on that one. I don't think it should be here. Great DLC, great game if you want to just put it there, of course, yeah. But for Game of the Year, that specific title, I think Stellar Blade should have taken this spot. This is on multiple categories that it can easily win, more than likely. But Game of the Year, I think that's very unfair to a full game that could have been on here. But I don't make the rules on here. Regardless of that fact, it's not my vote, but I wouldn't be surprised if this wins because the Souls community is tough. They are tough SOBs, okay? Tough to freaking even withstand the mental capacity it takes to play Souls games. I give them that love and respect all day, every day. It doesn't take away their freaking badassery it takes to play and withstand the difficulties of a Souls game and even Elden Ring and still enjoy it. So I'm gonna give them the love and respect on that, but I do not think that this should be in Game of the Year. I don't know how long this video is, y'all. Probably a little bit too lengthy or anything, just talking about this stuff. But at the same time, though, I hope you enjoyed this video, just discussing stuff. I haven't made a video in a hot little minute, but I want to discuss this because mainly of this category here, I was a little disappointed. But I was like, you know what, why not? I'll go here. I can just tell people what I voted for, okay? And of course, like I said, in the other categories here, I can't make no votes on these because either I don't know, or either it was really tough, or maybe I just didn't understand it. That's besides the point. Like best mobile game, all that stuff like that, best VR. I don't even have VR, and I don't even play mobile games or anything like that. So I'm not gonna do that. Indie games, there's some indie games that I played, but none of these I played. Didn't play any of the independent games or anything. Like some of these games I never even seen before. You know, so I couldn't vote for it. If I was wrong about something or anything of that nature, please put it in the comments. Clown me if you want for my freaking opinion on the Game of the Year kind of deal. Like I said, it's whatever, it's free reign. Hey, comment what you like, but I hope you guys can understand my point of view on the Game of the Year and hopefully appreciate some of the votes that I made. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys would disagree on some of this stuff, but hey, totally understand. There's nothing wrong with that. But anyway, I love you guys. Y'all take care.